Hi and welcome to day 26 of my live streaming challenge, 31 days. Actually, I just realized today that I've been scheduling up interviews. I've got interviews scheduled all this week, and I've now scheduled up till day 32. So we're going to do 32 days of a 31-day challenge. There we go. And I've got a few more that may be added in after that. Today, I'm talking to somebody who's become quite a good friend because we've met on Virtual Speaking Pro. And we've been sharing ideas and sorting things out. And so my interview today is with Bev Hepting, who is a speaking coach and using virtual speaking and live speaking there. So without any more ado, let me introduce Bev. Hi, Bev, and welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. Great to be here.
I think it's really great. Fabulous to be this early on a Saturday morning.
That was hard.
So, how have you found Virtual Speaking Pro is really useful?
Do you know, funnily enough, I have, because being a speaker, I started out thinking, well, what am I going to learn? But actually, I have learned so much from Virtual Speaking Pros, not only for the online stuff, but some of the offline stuff as well, and just the running the business bit that gets a bit difficult, and listening and learning from different approaches to it and the way different people do things. For me, it's been invaluable anyway, so hence why I'm still there.
Absolutely. Well, and you're now on Wendy's now got you as part of the next summit, hasn't she? So you're
I'm part of the next. Yeah, that's really exciting and part of the original journey I wanted to do because, I sort of saw this whole live streaming thing coming up, and first of all I thought, oh God, it's another YouTube. We're going to have toilets things and dogs yapping to some record or other, but as I sort of watched it a bit more, I realised that actually, if you did it well, if you actually learned how to, like you would offline, it's actually quite a powerful way to get heard.
Yeah. So I'm just going to bring up, because this is the I'll make it so this is the image I think at the moment for Speaking Skills Live. That's the show. What's the date? When's that going live? I've forgotten the date now.
I can't remember the date exactly. It's October sometime. My diary runs week to week. I know what I'm doing this week. Not what show's coming up next week.
I'll just type in it's virtualspeakingpros.com. So if anybody wants to have a look at that, isn't it? I'll just bring it up there, virtualspeakingpros.com, and all the information is there because the summit is live. Virtual Speaking Pros is a fairly low charge when you first go in, but after that, then the whole thing becomes. I think it's £67 a month, but it's well just. Worth it. Yeah, I mean, this is the whole thing, isn't it? It's being part of a community where people are.
I have to say, it's the only place I found where you can actually really get to grips with the online speaking and the live stream. You know, the whole live thing, where it's got practical and other benefits. I look. There's no other place that I see that's doing it. So
and Wendy's very good at all the sort of email marketing stuff as well, and organising that. So that's actually quite good. Yes, I'm absolutely terrible at email marketing. I have to admit, I'm just.
Get better.
I'm getting better. Yeah, I use a product called Mail Poet.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, which sits on my website, and but I've got to be careful because if I start getting a big list, I think I'll start getting hit with all sorts of challenges on numbers of mailings. But
that happens.
I use, I think, mostly so that when I write a blog post, that goes out and people.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your public speaking coach. No, I've found the name. Discover Your Voice. If I get it right, that's your brand, isn't it?
That is my brand, and the pink and the purple is really me. So that's part of my brand. But what happened was when I stopped working, I got quite ill, and I used to work in the charity sector, so. And I'd be running around with all sorts of people. And I have a theatre background, and I went to drama school and all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
when I stopped working, and I thought, oh, God, what am I going to do now? I can't sit around forever. And it was my hubby who turned around and said, oh, for God's sake, babe, you can talk for England. And I thought, actually, yeah, that's something that women, especially in business, struggle with. So it's not about public speaking per se, but effective speaking and being able to be heard and talk in their own voice. So that's where Discover Your Voice came from. It was about discovering your own authentic voice. So I started that up, and I've been going to Toastmasters and doing competitions, and I love to speak. So, you know, my aim is to be a speaker. That's my big thing. And I want to be world champion public speaker one day. That's another one of my big ambitions. But I've got to get past the UK thing first. So for me, I work with women. I can work with men, but I work with women predominantly to get them talking about what they do, not their job title and job description, which everybody gives when they say, what do you do? It's about what do you really do, and helping them to find the courage to stand up and talk about it, to be confident talking about it, and to love talking about it, because why do it if you don't? And if they don't talk about it, somebody else will. So use your own words, not somebody else's. So that's where Discover Your Voice came from.
That's interesting. I'm going to recommend a book you might want to try and find it. I think it's mostly available as a Kindle book at the moment. And when I set up the Professional Speakers Association, I was good friends at the time with Peter Setlin, who's an actor. I haven't seen for years now, but I got Peter to come along and do one of his presentations. Now, Peter is famous for being the man who taught Princess Diana to public speak.
Ah, right.
And he worked a lot with her because she was very, very. She really had a huge problem with expressing herself. Yeah, expressing who she was. So he did a whole set of things, and I've done some coaching with him myself, which I found really, really useful. This was before I changed gender, so he helped me enormously. He was probably the first person I ever told about myself being transgender. Okay. He encouraged who you really are and come out. But he's written a book, and it's called Just Talk to Me. Okay. So have a look at that on Amazon, because he's got some really good exercises. You just might find, looking at it, oh yeah, no, I will. Yeah, it's one of those books which I found really helpful, because obviously I coach speakers as well, and I found a huge amount of help from Peter's book. And he came. That one out. Yeah, he just helps people to bring themselves out, and it's such a tough challenge. It is, and I think it's also about when people begin to understand the sort of the basics, like having a structure and only giving the one message, not trying to tell everybody everything all the time. And once you get past all that sort of mental stuff that's going on in their head, I think people find it a lot easier. So it's like, well, you only have to say one thing, and actually you're only ever talking to one person because we've only all got one set of ears. So, you know, and talk to the people that you want to work with. The rest of them will be interested, and then they begin to go, oh, it's not quite as, you know. And you know what the funny thing is? I'm having a harder problem getting them to live stream than I am to get them to stand on a stage in front of people. Oh. It's really bizarre. Yeah, and I remember when you started this challenge, you were saying that same thing. You'd rather be on a stage. I have no idea why it was so frightening. I've got over it now. Okay, but and that's what I would recommend to anyone. You know, if you want to start getting yourself involved in using video, I mean, I think we have to. Because I've said this a few times now. In all my speaking coaching, I have adamantly refused to use video. And I've said, no, video doesn't help, because all you do is see all of your faults amplified, and it actually makes you feel worse about yourself. And it's far better to use the Toastmaster approach, which basically is you do a speech and then you get some feedback from people, and you teach people how to give good feedback. So that was always been my method, you know, teach people how to give good feedback, and then you actually know how to compliment people, and that's amazing. But the video, and I know of actors who have never watched a movie that they've acted in because they can't stand. It's like looking at a photo of yourself, isn't it? You go, I don't look like that. I don't sound like that. I don't look like that. No, this is not me. No. Oh God, no. So I find myself literally. I have put off for 2 years putting together some courses I'm creating on trying to take my sort of workshops onto live. And years I think it's more than that. It might even be 4 years since I actually first started looking at trying to do it. But some of the technology wasn't around to do it then. And
Yeah.
to be honest,
absolutely true. The
waited,
technology has made it a lot easier.
It's accelerated, hasn't it? I mean, we've just got a huge acceleration.
Yeah.
But no. I mean, well, all great that you're getting people actually to do that, because that's what I'm trying to do. I've set up this group. I sent you an invitation, so please do come and join us.
Thank you.
Okay, called eSpeaker Live. It's just, and really all I want to do is, I'm just trying to create an environment where people can come and practice. You know, there is an audience. It's okay. They don't know the audience. They can just go do it. But the people in there actually know something and will feedback. That's what I'm hoping. Is it's a place where people can feedback and will actually support each other. So it's a free place to sort of.
Yeah, I set up a video challenge group, and it's the same principle. I say to people, right, go and do your video, upload it, and then we'll, you know, in a safe place, we'll all give you a little bit of feedback and get it better. And I think with the live streaming and videoing thing, it's getting into people's heads that you're not talking to yourself. And that, you know, although you can't see anybody, you've got in your head to imagine you are talking to somebody.
Yes,
when I first started, I had a picture of somebody just above the camera, somebody to focus on.
Well, you say that. I mean, one of the I've been watching Udemy courses have helped me.
Yeah.
And one of the tutors on Udemy who's helped me a lot is Alexa Fisher.
All right.
She does the 1,000 watt presence. She's an ex-actress, but now does basically people similar thing to Lottie. She just teaches people how to be confident on camera. But I find it useful I just find it helps to look at different people's approaches.
Absolutely. We all get stuck in our own approach, and it's very easy to think that is the only way. But I actually think any coach, it's their responsibility to be developing their own coaching methods and looking at what's going on and to taking new stuff. Because if we're going to charge people for our expertise, that expertise can't be 30 years in the past with new technology coming up. And certainly for me, live streaming, it was, wow, this is a new way of doing things. It's not the same sort of coaching as when I'm coaching people how to breathe and talk to 500 people. This is different. So I had to go and find, and then I learned all these different ways, the way you do it, the way Lottie does it, the way Wendy does it, and a few other people I watch. I just think all coaches should do that.
Absolutely, and I think this is one of the advantages I found with the PSA, and you find obviously you find with Toastmasters as well.
The only annoying thing about Toastmasters, I have to tell you this. I've got to tell you this.
Did you know there are actually?
Sorry.
Go.
Yeah, I was going to say about Toastmasters, we're in the middle of competition, and a couple of the people at Toastmasters I coach. And I have to tell you all now, there is nothing more annoying than the people you coach winning and beating you at competition.
Yeah, but that's down to the vagaries of Toastmaster contest judging. I stopped competing eventually because once I'd set up the PSA, I found that pretty much people were saying, "Oh, she's a professional speaker, so we're not going to vote for her. We'll vote for that's not fair."
Yeah.
So I just decided, no, it's not going to work. But you know, it's just as tough for anybody to go in and do a 7-minute contest speech.
Oh no, it is. I just find it amusing now, and I'm thinking I'm not coaching any more people at Toastmasters. They're on their own.
Have you seen some of the online Toastmaster clubs?
No, and you mentioned these in something a few weeks ago, and I'm going to go and have a hunt those out because I think they are the way forward. Because I think more and more people are going to be online. More and more people want to come in from vast areas. You know, it's the only way you can create your own platform in a way and create your own, because we all have different ways we want to be coached. And I love the idea that those people that I get and I love all, you know, around the world online can come to one place and we can all work together. You can't do that offline. You almost have to make do with what you've got in your local area to a certain degree. So. Yeah,
although I think and the thing is they're using Zoom mostly for this, which is a good platform. But I think like any Toastmaster club, you have a limit. I noticed when I first joined Toastmaster Club, which is back in 1990. I joined a club in London, Grosvenor Square. In fact, I'd gone as a guest to Grosvenor Square, and there were no other. Actually, I think I had to join Grosvenor Square. That was the only club in London.
Yeah.
One Toastmaster club in London. And there was another club forming called London Corinthians. And somebody said, well, why don't you join London Corinthians? It's a charter club. And then you can join that. So I said, okay, fine. That's what I'll do. I'll join London Corinthians. And I found that the Grosvenor Square committee were really, really negative about the whole thing. Oh, no, it'll just take away people from our club. I thought, this is London.
Yeah.
There are 67 clubs in Auckland, New Zealand, and you've got one in London. It just...
Do you know what they say about committees, Rikki?
Absolutely crackers. Everybody was terrified. Oh, it'll be competition. It'll take away from us. And what was happening is Grosvenor Square would get to 50 members, and then you couldn't get on a slot. So people would start leaving, and then it would go back down to about 40 or 30, and then it would come back up. And so it just kept going up and down. There is a limit.
There is, and I think the issue they have as well is I found in some of these sorts of speakers club there seems to be an elitism to public speaking, which is what I think puts off a lot of people, certainly women in small business. You know, they hear the word public speaking or public speaker and they think, well, you know, you have to be all posh voiced and have all this lovely elocution and stand on. And I keep saying to people, well, that's not public speaking in my book. Public speaking is if you're talking to a group of 3 or more people about something and you don't know them. Yeah. We do this every day. And it is, if we don't break that down, we're going to become a nation of numb people. I mean, in schools, I remember having to speak out loud at school and read from books. Well, kids don't do that anymore. And I think, well, how are they going to learn to speak and speak effectively and communicate what they want and all the rest of it if we're not actually teaching anyone to speak anymore?
Oh, I agree. I think in America they do tend to teach kids how to speak in public, but some schools are doing it. Some of the private schools do a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think kids right from early age should be being taught to get up in front of the class and speak. Boosts their. It just helps so much. So how are you using? Because I mean, this is one thing. Kids are going to be more. Kids are more and more used to using the phones and going online, and they're all now doing Facebook Live and such. So we're getting that beginning to happen. A culture of people growing up with this. How are you actually using live streaming in your business now?
For me, there's 2 prongs for me. I use live streaming as a way of doing, and I nicked it a bit off Wendy to a degree. I do a masterclass as a live stream on Facebook with my membership because I want them to get used to this idea that live streaming is that idea of, you know, offline we'd have a workshop and we'd be there and we'd talk to each other and we'd do our learning that way. And what we're doing is bringing it online because my membership are all over the place, but I encourage them to actually attend as if it was a workshop. So I do it that way for my own coaching methods because, one, I get people from further afield. It's easier. You know, I can come and sit down and they can sit down with their cup of coffee and we don't have all that traveling and the cost of venue hire and everything else. But the other thing for me is putting, because what I do with my clients is I will set up strategy for what they need to do and what they want. And funnily enough, I'm working with a lady at the moment who cooks, professional cook, who does lots of demonstration and stuff. And, you know, she has to go to the demonstration, she has to hire this big kitchen. And when I talked to her about, well, actually, why don't you set up a live streaming while you're cooking dinner for your kids? She does authentic Indian cooking and she's trying to prove that you can cook a really good curry and half the time to cook a roast dinner that people, you know. So she suddenly cottoned on to this idea that, yeah, I could do that because I'm already cooking dinner. We could, you know, then they can have the rest of it and I can live stream that as I'm doing it and the kids can, and it becomes friendly. It becomes exactly what her clients need her to do. So I try to encourage all my clients to think about where can you use live streaming, not just get on there and go, oh, I've made a curry tonight. And how can you use live streaming really effectively to demonstrate what you do, to talk to the people you need to talk to as part and parcel of the package you give to people? Because we live in a world now that is very, very, very loud online.
Yeah.
You've got to cut
I'm assuming she's live streaming into a private. Is this to a private group, or is she live streaming?
She's setting up a private group for people who want to understand and she's putting a cookery book together. So I said, well, that's great. Use the recipes from the cookery book, which will buy the cookery book because they'll want to do it, and I said to her, what you can encourage them to do then is to, upload their photos of what it turns out, good or bad. You get into that it becomes real. Because
so she just sets up her phone in the kitchen.
Absolutely. And because she does things in one pan, it's easy. And I said, just use those recipes that take, if you're saying to people, quick and easy. So teach them how to use make poppadoms, or how to make a chicken biryani, or whatever it is that can be done. I said, they're not going to stay there for 2 hours, but if you can do something in 15 to 20 minutes, they can stop and stay. You'll have students coming in wanting to watch you do that. They'll follow along. And the next stage would be to do a whole live, follow me as I did. Do you remember the old cookery things on TV? They used to go, we'd be in the kitchen with portable TV, following along to do the rest. Well, now you can do it live and ask the question, was it a tablespoon or a teaspoon of curry? I can't remember.
Yes. Well, you can, of course, add things into your chat so that people have got, things there, and people can obviously ask questions while you're doing it. So
absolutely. I said to her, it's a whole new way of thinking, because you can't just lose yourself in the cooking. This is like patting your head and rubbing your tummy. You've got to be aware that people need to be engaged. So you've got to be talking to them while doing the cooking, which she does on demonstration. So it's not a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, I think it's this whole thing of actually talking through what you're doing while you're doing it, and but I think all you got to, I just keep imagining. Now I've got somebody here, and I'm talking to them.
That's it. That's what I said to her.
Now, one of the things I'm trying to say to people is, if you want to get used to live streaming, doing this is actually quite good.
Yeah,
getting into an interview, being interviewed or interviewing, and essentially what you're doing is not so much an interview as just getting online and having a chat with someone about, with a particular purpose. I mean,
and the thing about it is, as I said to her, when you do that, people share it. The thing about live streaming is, one, for me, it's a bit like when you go on stage, it's that little bit of nerves that gives you that extra energy and makes it, so you don't keep going back to the recording, oh, I didn't like that, well, I'll record it again. You almost have to be a bit on edge and on top of your game. So I think that adds something to it. But it also means that, like, people who don't know about me will listen to this interview. So I'm actually, joining in with you, having a great chat, but other people are going to hear this and hear what I have to say, which is great. So, and I'm getting my voice out. Other people do when they come. And so for me, live streaming is the next step. I don't know whether they'll go after live streams, but we'll have 3D, I suppose, next.
I think we've got a long way to go with live streaming yet, because
absolutely.
What I'm seeing is so few people doing it. I mean, it looks as if we're being flooded with it, but actually, I'm a member of quite a few live streaming groups. It's the same people all the time. And
it is, and I think there's no progression for some of those people. I think it's really important, if people are going to do live, and I suppose this is a bit cheeky on mine, it's not about, again, making it elitism, but it's about saying, if you're going to go live, understand why you're going live. What is it you want to achieve, so people want to come back and listen to you again and again. If you're just on there prattling on, and I've seen a few people do this, well, I'm going to do a live and let they talk. For me, it's about, what do you want out of this? What do you want to say? Yeah. Get that message across. There's always tomorrow to do another one. It's like you only get one in your life.
Yes.
So, but people will want to come back and listen because they're interested, and they've got what you're saying.
Yeah, no, it's. I think a lot. I mean, most of the people who come to see my show are going to see it afterwards. I'm not at the level where I'm getting, millions of people coming in. But once I've done this 31-day challenge, I'm going to settle down into a couple of shows a week. And one of them at least will be interviewing and just talking to people, maybe getting multiple interviews. I haven't got to the point where I've had multiple guests yet. I'm one
at a time, Rikki, one at a time.
It's just so many things to do while you're doing it, because you're watching your agenda, you're watching all the different bits and pieces.
I think for me as well, the next exciting thing is, like I do some live events, and I'm really looking at how I can incorporate the live streaming into live events so that people that can't make it can still be a part of it. I haven't figured that out yet, but there must be a way so that people don't, you know, so local, I do a thing with women locally, but it would be lovely to say, well, actually, you can all sort of, you know, stream into it and type in your messages, and there'd be somebody there facilitating and answering back. And I'm still working that one out, but there must be a way to be able to incorporate the two.
Yeah, it depends on how you organise it. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm certainly looking at how I can take what I do as a live presentation when I'm, for example, my trans awareness training, and see, can I deliver that as a live online event? I'm putting together a course which is going to be online, but what I want to add into it is discussion groups. So that I can say to people, right, you've done the course. When you're on a course, you can actually interact and discuss. But what I want you to do is to come on. So there'll be a secret group for everybody who can join, and then I want to draw people back in on a monthly Q&A, so that as we're in the course, you can just book in and schedule in. You can come in, and we're going to be, it'll be clear. You know, today we're going to be talking about, but you just come in and bring your issues as well. What are the challenges you're facing, so we can have a discussion about the challenges people face in trans inclusive workplaces in that particular instance, or whatever else the topic is.
I suspect there are, because the whole transgender thing, they're going to be very vulnerable, isolated people, and we've always said, Facebook gets people. I actually think going live, whilst it's always going to be second place to face-to-face meetings for people that don't get out much, this for me is the second best thing for any vulnerable or isolated person dealing with issues, to actually be able to talk to people about the same thing in a way they've probably not been able to do before. So for me, on that level, it's quite exciting. And I think, older people who actually be able to talk to their, like Skype, it's almost taken Skype to a much bigger level for people that may be isolated at home or don't see anybody, to be able to.
I think the tools have been there for a long time, but now they're becoming more structured, more formalized, more able to be used in a training or facilitated environment.
Yeah.
And, I just think it's amazing. I still want to see a little bit more of me being able to deliver a keynote speech into an organization without going there. Just put me up on screen, and so I've now got to think a little bit more about what do I do to create something here that actually looks okay on screen in front of 1,000 people at a conference when I'm not there. Because
you and I are used to those big stages where we can prance backwards and forwards and have big balls. And suddenly our stage is like this little square, and it's all got to fit behind us and look as fantastic as it was on the big stage.
Well, this is it.
I have to keep myself still a bit, not wave my arms around.
I've had to learn that one. Yeah, my first attempts on live screen, I was all over the camp. That
is a challenge, I think, for people like you and I that are used to those stages. And suddenly, okay, we've got this little, and I suppose because I have done some TV and stuff. So like Lottie, I do sort of understand, but it's still a bit restricting.
It's practice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think this is
just get on and do it. Yeah.
You get coaching, you know what you're supposed to be doing. Lottie helped me loads with what to wear and things, the clothes to get, and I'm still experimenting with different things and thinking what looks right. And I've got some colours I would never have thought of wearing.
Yeah.
But actually, I look on screen, I think actually that really works.
Yeah.
I mean, this today it's just a quite nice outfit that works comfortably. I don't want to look too formal. I want it to look informal, but not scruffy.
No.
And so it's all these little bits and pieces, getting lights right and everything. But again, it only comes because I do it, and then somebody looks and says, "Oh, why don't you try this, try that, do that?"
Absolutely.
And that's where the help comes from. I think from being part of a group.
Absolutely.
And again, we all. I mean, there is a limit to how big a group we can all manage. So it's I can't do this for thousands of people. It's got to be.
I think that's why I like the way Wendy set up from the originally, because she always said she'd prefer smaller groups that really get that help and support than have thousands and thousands of people. And I took that on board quite early, and I realised that that's actually the better way to work, because we all want to result. But a lot of people are in it for the money, and I'm not saying I wouldn't love the money from thousands and thousands of people join, but actually result end, you don't know if you're getting any results from people, because there's no way you can track those thousands and thousands of people.
Well, this gets things out. I'm noticing more interaction happening generally in things that I'm doing. I put a post out, a blog post out yesterday, and somehow I'd managed to duplicate a paragraph. It just being copied and pasted back in text. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, I got a message.
It was a test, Rikki, to see who was reading it.
Well, and I got somebody came back and said, "I don't know whether you noticed, Rikki, but."
There you go.
So I think, well, that's great. At least some people are reading this. So, because I had a bit of a rant on my little show yesterday about a trans thing going on in Australia that's really annoyed me. But
oh, right, okay.
Well, that was yesterday. I'm going to do it anyway. We're at 10:30, so I try to keep these to about half an hour.
Okay.
It's been lovely having you on show, Bev. Let me just put a couple of things here so that people know. Everybody wants to get in touch with Bev. It's bevhepting.com. That's the main website. You've got loads of Facebook pages as well, I've noticed. So
yeah, you'll find it all on. All the links are on the website. So
I have added a couple of those into the to the chat. I think you can see that. So if you look on the chat on here, you should be able to find those things. Or should I have commented on there? Oh yeah, I can. Right. So I'll just got one of your Facebook pages there. I think I can. Oh yeah. Is it going to comment? Ah, there we go.
Thank you.
I'll put that up on. I see. I've learned something new. I didn't know. I didn't know how to do that, so I've put that on there, and I'll put another one into the chat as well here.
Thank you.
So that people can find you and what you're doing. Oops, there we go. Let's just put that one in as well. And it takes a few seconds for it to connect through. I see what happens. It'll be there in a moment. Hide that comment. Anyway, so we've got that address. So if people want to go to those addresses, you can find Bev. Also have a look at the virtual speakers, virtualspeakingpros.com, and Bev will be one of the featured speakers. Talking about what?
It's talking about the 60-second business pitch people do and how to get direct to the heart of what you do.
Okay, well that's so that's going to be one of the that's a live event, isn't it? This is going to be a live summit. So this is going to be an online live summit. So all sorts of challenges for everybody in making that happen, because I've been involved in one a couple of weeks ago. Ladies Go Live was unbelievably challenging, because you came along to Ladies Go Live as well.
I did. I don't know how they managed all that.
What a show! But it does show you that you can actually run a live full-day conference.
Yeah.
And lots of things going on behind the scenes. It was ducks flapping like mad and looking serene, but paddling like mad. No, it was a really, really enjoyable thing.
It was brilliant.
Okay, so Bev, thank you very much indeed for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, everybody, if you want to get a little bit more involved in online speaking and improving and just come and join eSpeaker live. Just look on Facebook, you'll find the address there. Just join the group and come and share your ideas, share your thoughts, chat. It's basically a free group for anybody who wants to start getting better or start getting involved in going online. So thanks so much indeed, Bev. Really lovely to see you, and take care, everybody. See you again tomorrow with a new interview. And tomorrow, I can't even remember who I've got on my schedule tomorrow. I shall have to post that later. Lots of people all next week. Really exciting lineup coming next week. So thank you, Bev. And I'm going to sign off now. Thank you.
Okay.